Why is culture king? This is part three and the final installment in a three-part series called Why is Culture King? We think that it is. Merry Christmas. I know if it's summertime that doesn't fit, but when I'm recording this, it's Christmas time. We're going to examine the day in the life of a top performing sales professional. We think it's important, but before I tell you what it is, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not a bunch of random activities. The first thing that comes to your mind, then the second thing that comes to your mind, and so on and so forth. When I wrote the 5 Steps to Sales Success method, it was because I believe I have seen and seen it proven to me that the chronological order in which you address things has a lot to do with the turnout of the engagement and the sales process and your closing ratio. Aristotle had it right. He said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit." If you're going to do something, you learn this as a kid. If you're going to do something and do it really well, you got to do it and do it and do it and practice it and refine it. So these are the steps that we have seen, observed, and these don't go against any sales book or any seminar that you will ever watch or read or podcast. Step number 1 is to get your tone and your posture correct. And now let me tell you what that's not. That's not sitting there and worrying about current events and politics. Think about selling. Think about, if you're in the piano industry, putting more music in people's lives. If you're in the boating industry, about the recreational and the mental wellness that they get from getting away from the madness of life and getting out on the waves and getting out on the water. Step number 2, after you get your tone and your posture correct, is to get your juices flowing. Think about what you're going to be doing and try to get excited about it. Why would anybody be excited if you're not excited about what you're doing? Step number 3 is to gather your assets. So what have we done so far? We have made sure that our tone and posture is correct. We've gotten our juices flowing, and we've gathered the assets, the things that we need to show people, to deploy, to impress people, the information that we need to give people to make ourselves positioned as the expert. Step number 4 is to promote the customer journey. You should have at least 30 people that you are engaging with at any point in time. If you are organized every day, you should know which people need a touch, which people need their relationship with you deepened. Now, you're not in charge of when they pull the trigger, but if you are the friendliest and most dependable place for them to get information, you are in charge, 80-20 rule invoked, with who they pull the trigger with. Because people are typically profit follows trust, to quote Seth Godin. And then after you promote the customer journey and you move people through the sales funnel as well as possible, you need to take some time and worry about content. I don't remember if it was Gates or Jobs, but one of those guys said that content is king. Well, I guess we've got 2 kings on the throne. Culture is king, content is king. Let's just say they're both really darn important. They're very, very critical to your success. And after you position yourself, if you can't write, at least go find some content that you can share so that you can position yourself as the specialist in your marketplace. Then you mop up loose ends. Make sure you didn't forget anything. Sometimes little things, liking somebody on LinkedIn, somebody that you just met, on Facebook, or just making a connection, or making a small non-sales oriented effort to personalize the relationship a little bit so that it's not always all about money, because the company with the most friends wins. Then step number 7 is document and analyze your activities, because if you can't explain what you did, you probably don't know what you're doing well enough. You should know how many contacts it takes to set an appointment, how many appointments it takes to set a sale, and you should be able to work backwards and figure out your goals and what your activities need to be to reach your goals. So analyze yourself. Self examination is an unbelievably, what's the word I'm looking for? Productive drill to engage in. Please do it. And then plan the next day. That's a perfect segue into the next day, which starts once more with action number one, get your tone and posture correct. So start thinking about tomorrow. You can leave it behind at the office. You can take it home and get your computer out after everybody else goes to bed, however it is that you operate best. But the thing is that culture is king. It's the most profitable way to operate. Don't believe me. Read the quotes at the end of the article. Argue with people smarter and more rich and famous than I am. They all believe that culture is important. It's not important that you do everything that we ask you to do exactly the way that we do to the letter or anything like that. But remember what Alex Hermosi says. He says, imitate before you iterate. Don't change something until you know exactly what you're doing and you get in a groove. That is how you end up with a self or a group culture that is as efficient as you can make it, and that's how you become the very best possible version of yourselves self. So to finish up, culture eats strategy for breakfast. End up with Charles Drucker. Go argue with him if you don't believe me.